How's my hair? You ready? Today we're going to do a very special video, something a little bit different. Recently we've been getting a lot of emails, comments and requests for us to make a video on what spare parts we carry and recovery equipment. So that's what we're going to do today.
Bonjour et bienvenue sur Grizzly & Bear Overland. Je suis Steph et avec mon mari Leigh, on voyage autour du monde avec notre Land Rover Defender et sa cellule amovible. Je vous propose ici la version traduite de la vidéo en anglais. Un grand merci à tous ceux qui nous soutiennent sur Patreon.
We got some slings. This one's actually a tree protector, but I do use it as a sling. It's rated. Another big sling. It's not a snatch strap. One thing I probably would add, maybe get rid of this and replace it with a snatch strap. Snatch block, you can double your strength of your winch by running your wire through that. Use it for many different situations. 2 4-ton shackles and a 3-ton, I think it is. 3.25. Gloves, which I need to wear more often. We also carry with us an exhaust jack. Now I highly recommend one of these in any Overlander's kit. It's an exhaust jack, so it goes onto the exhaust pipe, but we've got the option to hook it up to our compressor as well. It's a fantastic bit of kit that has saved us now on 2 occasions that could have been disastrous. If you're sunk all the way down to your chassis, or in a really bad situation with very soft or in a river or something like that, where a high lift jack might not be so good, that thing there, it's flat as a pancake. You slide it underneath, it's super powerful. The exhaust jack can lift 4.5 ton. We weigh 3.5 tons and you'll never be lifting the entire weight of your car. It can lift on any point. You put it under your chassis, even under our fuel tank, whatever, and it will just lift you.
Hand winch. Next time Leigh might invest in an electric winch.
We've also got a winch mounted to our ARB bull bar. Just wanted to talk about something that I think is really important to do regularly and often gets neglected is testing stuff, recovery equipment, especially that you don't use very often. Better to make sure it works before you get into an area where you may use it. Now the winch I think is a 9,500 pound winch, which is probably a little bit small for our size, but it came with the truck. We serviced it at Newman, got it up and running, and it's good enough. 2 waffle boards. I rate the waffle boards highly. A little bit heavier than your plastic style Max Tracks or even the aluminium ones. They're rated for about 4 tons, so you can bridge with them. I'd be a little bit scared to, but you can do that with them. An excellent bit of kit. Just a basic set of jumper leads. We've got our tire lever with our 24mm socket on it, a bottle jack. Obviously, this is the one that came with the car. I could maybe do with upgrading that just a little bit. I'd like a little bit of a more heavy duty. And one thing that we do not have, which we will get in the future, I think, because we drive a Defender, we seem to be taking the tires off so much, and even for tire rotation, is a heavy duty jack stand for safety. Basic tire puncture repair kit. As you can see, still brand new in the packet. I'm not complaining if it stays that way, if we're lucky enough to not get a puncture, touch wood. The Colby valve stem replacement kits are really cool. What they can do is if you shear off your valve stem completely, which can happen, those things can be installed without having to remove the tire from the rim. This thing is a valve stem remover. Another thing I wanted to quickly mention is we carry only 1 spare tire on the rim. Doing a trip like ours, we should carry 2 spare tires. I absolutely disagree. To carry a whole another tire, that's a hell of a lot of weight and storage space. Maybe just the rubber, not the rim. So they carry the one on the rim down there, and then they've got the rubber only on top. If you're that unlucky, you puncture 2 tires, then you're just gonna have to wait.
I don't know if we're lucky or unlucky.
Tire inflation and pressure gauge in one here. It hooks up to our ARB compressor. Nothing special about that. Digital pressure gauge. This is Steffi's one actually. A set of the Storm tire deflators. These things are excellent. We don't use them enough. But you can preset them. I've actually got 4 of them. When I was using them a lot in Australia, I used to have 2 set up for the pressure that I would drop the tires to for driving on gravel roads, and 2 of them preset to the pressure that I would drop the tires to drive on very soft sand. Spare parts. Now firstly, what I want to mention is we don't carry a huge amount of spare parts. This is something we get asked a lot, and everybody has their own opinion, and please, this is just my opinion from what I've learned over the years. Everybody will do what they feel comfortable with, but I do not see the point of carrying with you too many spare parts. Where do you draw the line in the end? Murphy's Law says the one thing that you're going to break, probably the part you're not going to have.
And he must have had over a ton of spare parts in his car. We didn't use one of them. What we did need was simple stuff we hadn't even thought about.
We're lucky now, we're spoiled. We live in a world where international courier, delivery and postal services are very, very efficient. If you guys have followed the videos for a little while, you'll know we drive a Defender. We've had our fair share of breakdowns and part malfunctions and all the rest of it. The longest we've had to wait for a spare part, I think, is 10 days. If you're on a long-term overlanding trip, what's 10 days? Settle down, relax and enjoy the moment. The part's going to arrive eventually. Drive belt, a box of assorted grease nipples, some bolts, I can't even remember what they're for. That's another thing I wanted to mention too. I need to do it. Make a list of what spare parts you've got. If you remember the problem we had with our snapped swivel ball housing, we had one of these damaged. Now I didn't even know that I had them in my spare parts, so I forgot I had them. Be aware of what spare parts you do have. Universal joints, a couple of wheel bearings, shock absorber mounts and suspension bushing. But axle oil seals, and I've also got the oil seal from the differential to the drive shaft. Wheel hub oil seal. Sorry, for the swivel ball housing. This is a high temperature gasket seal. Various shock absorber bushings, front and rear brake pads, which we will install soon because they're at about 50%. Windscreen wiper blades, because we have been caught out before when we've desperately needed some. Box of assorted fuses. At all times, I try to have at least an amount of service kit to fully service the car and again. So I'll have 2 kits at one time. Definitely do not rely on the garage in the particular country we're in to have the parts we need. Whether it be filters, air filters, diesel filters, oil filters. Oil, okay, you can get that anywhere, but the filters themselves, I carry with me for that reason. So then if we use it all up, I still like to have one spare set of filters. So as soon as we service the car, I'll order again another full service kit. Generally try to have 2 on me at all times. All of the filters I store in a waterproof bag, a dry bag. Oils and lubricants, so we've got a tin of WD-40 in the car. Like I said earlier, the oils can be obtained in any country you're traveling. We're going to get some engine oil. And I'm getting a ride in the Land Cruiser and it's pretty comfortable. So I don't carry enough oil for a full service. I just carry enough engine oil for a top up. I've obviously got brake fluid, clutch fluid. What else do we have in here? I've got axle fluid, so differential oil if I need to top that up, gearbox oil and transfer box oil. Grease gun for greasing the drivetrain. Empty grease gun. Grease guns are always empty. Carry an extra tube of grease as well. Keep it in a little bit of plastic because these things can leak. Quite essential if you've been traveling through the countries we've traveled. We got caught out in Uzbekistan last year, where our diesel system completely gelled up in about -8 degrees Celsius. Very handy if you're in that sort of environment. Highly recommend to carry. This is a heavy duty hand cleaner, so it's like a sand soap. Tube of silicone. I like to have a tube of silicone for different jobs. Big heavy duty roll of duct tape. Very important. Cable ties. Recently could have used a cable tie. Someone commented on YouTube, which was a really good idea when my brake pad pin came out. I should have just used cable ties. I never even thought about it. These are heavy duty cable ties. Good for all kinds of stuff as well.
What are you up to with that bloody cable tie?
A couple of rolls of thread seal. A couple of rolls of electrical tape.
Full Barco socket set. Just hand tools, side cutters, multi-grips or vice grips, pop rivet gun, shifters or adjustable spanners, baby hammer, gimpy, that's what we call a lump hammer or a mash hammer in Australia, hacksaw with a couple of spare blades, some impact gloves, which I never wear and should wear, pliers, cold chisel. I need to replenish my drill bits. Little 14.4 volt Ryobi, which does the job for us for little bits and pieces on the car and camper, as well as removing the camper, use it to operate the jacks.
Option number 2. If we do run out of cordless drill battery, then we have to do it like, well, Steffi has to do it like this. I'll supervise if it ever comes to this part of an operation.
Every opportunity I get to plug in and charge these cordless drill batteries, I do it because you never know when you're going to need the drill.
A small plastic box with various nuts, bolts, screws, washers, lock nuts. We've spoke about that before. Steffi keeps that one in very, very good order. Ice scraper. Never needed one of these in Australia, but might come in handy wintering in Asia. We made a mistake by getting rid of our big shovel, which was stored on the camper. we got a smaller one so we could have it mounted on the car at all times. Until it just bends in half when we're actually trying to use it. I got rid of the big axe. We only kept the small one. There we go.
What I would like to have in the kit is like a little flame torch. Fire extinguisher as well in the car and another one in the camper.
Nous espérons que vous avez aimé la vidéo. Dites-nous en commentaire si vous souhaitez un épisode du même format sur notre matériel de sport, d'escalade, de rando, de camping. Dites-nous si vous avez des conseils ou des suggestions par rapport à votre expérience personnelle ou peut-être que votre avis diverge sur certains points. Ce n'est que notre avis et on est toujours à l'écoute, prêt à découvrir de nouvelles choses. En 20 ans de conduite 4x4 pour Leigh, chaque expérience nous apporte son lot de surprises et d'apprentissage, chaque jour et pour toujours.
In between cars. I can't believe it. If it's not cars, it's crows. Now we got planes. It's crazy, isn't it? Non-stop. Nope, now wind as well.